I think the best way to start the conversation about solar is to give an easy explanation of how the energy is created by a silicone panel. This is made up of silicone atoms. A silicone atom has 14 electrons, and 4 of which fly off very easily when it's hit by the sun. That's the photovoltaic effect, and that's why they talk about these panels creating energy through the electrons. Now, they do run a little bit different than what you thought. They actually run through the negative side all the way up, creating the power, and then run right back up through the positive to refill the holes that they left. The more cells you have, the more wattage you can actually generate. So the bigger the panel you have, you can create more energy. So essentially, the sun hits it, knocks off some electrons. The electrons run through the negative side, do the work, fly right back and fill up the hole. And we're getting work out of that effort of them flying through the system. I thought it would be great to just make a video that explains solar in such an easy way that everyone could not only comprehend it, but when they're done with the video, they could articulate to anybody how it works and the different options we have. So the first thing I want to tell you, if you don't want to know anything about solar, but you want to have off-grid power from the sun, the easiest way to set something up is to have one panel. You don't need to have any wiring schematics. You don't need to choose between series or parallel if you have one panel. It's plug and play. The positive to the positive, the negative to the negative, you're done. And I suggest that that's the first entry-level way to get into solar so you can understand what the panel's doing, where you're getting power, how you're getting it. I just wanted to step in and give a word from our sponsor. I wanted to actually thank them for being part of this whole project. I reached out to Renogy and I told them I wanted to do a series on teaching people how to use solar products. And part of it would be me ordering my dream solar setup and then teaching people to not only figure out how much solar they need, how to wire it, what solar is, but also give them access to be able to set their system up and order it. And Renogy jumped on board huge. So it was like my birthday and Christmas all together, and I ordered my dream setup. We're going to be putting in 1.6 gigawatts. Just kidding, 1.6 kilowatts. So during this series, we are going to be putting on 4 400-watt panels. We're going to talk about whether they should be wired in series or parallel. We're going to run them through up to 2 different charge controllers at 60 volts. So they are 400-watt panels, 23 volts in peak running, and they're high efficiency. So they're 43 pounds per panel, and when we're all said and done, we're looking at 1,600 watts, 2 charge controllers at 60 volts, and house batteries from Renogy. And the whole purpose of this is to not only show people how to understand solar, order solar, and figure out how much solar they need for the equipment they have. We're actually going to sit down and show you how to read those labels in the back of your appliances and write a little schedule to figure out how much energy you need to run off grid. That's going to be in this series. In all of these videos through this whole thing, you're going to be able to have access to savings through ATAP community, another time, another place. The code is ATAP. Use it on their website for your order. Yeah. And if you want to go to the next level, it starts to get really cool. Because when you have 2 panels, you can start doing some things with the wiring that makes them pretty powerful. You can actually choose whether or not to put those 2 panels together to make them work with really low light, or you can choose to separate them to where if one's damaged or has a bunch of leaves on it or has a shadow on it, the other one is still working to its full potential. That's all we're talking about when we're talking about wiring series or parallel. That's it. And I'm going to break down why you pick which one. And then, to be honest, I'm going to show you if you're talking 4, 6, and 8 panels, how you can use both of them in that wiring schematic to get the most out of the low light or the injured panel, getting it out of the process. When we're done, hopefully everyone will completely understand solar and be able to explain it. Also, they'll understand 3 or 4 misnomers that are published a lot when it comes to solar. So, number 1, Almost everything we're doing now is with lithium batteries, so the discussion we're going to have is with lithium batteries. One of the biggest mistakes I see on videos is somehow checking the ability of the battery or the capacity of the battery with a voltmeter. People will run an appliance and then they'll check back. They'll check back and they'll say, well, the battery's still at 13.1, so I must not have used very much electricity. The reason why you can't use a voltmeter to check capacity on a lithium battery is actually an amazing thing. The whole point of a lithium battery computer, the computer inside of it, is to make the thing run at 13.1 or 13.2 for as much of the whole battery as possible, right? And in reality, where we're at right now on a good battery, the first 10% will be above 13.2 and the bottom 18 to 10% will be below 13.1. So if you walk up to a lithium battery and you check its voltage, all you're really saying is it's in that 80% window if it's 13.1 or 13.2. If you're at 13.1 and you have a load on a battery, that lithium battery will actually could be at 90% charge, still showing 13.1. And it'll show it all the way down to 18% and sometimes as low as 10% before it drops off to 13 and drops off. The way you actually calculate how much energy is being drawn off the system is by doing the math. And some smart charge controllers where they separate the load from the battery can do the math for you. But those little tiny charge controllers that just have that flashing light and they tell you what voltage it is, they are not telling you what capacity your battery bank is at. And they'll never tell you how long you can run an oven or a coffee maker off of that system. The next misnomer is what leads into how I'm going to explain to you wiring in series and why we wire in series. It's actually really simple. That little green light that flashes on a cheap charge controller, a lot of people feel like that's a charge light. And they'll make videos showing, hey, my green light's flashing when the moon's hitting it or when a fire is hitting it. And what's really cool, 10 years ago, I went off grid in my house in Glendale, and I had huge panels like this and a windmill. I was probably the only one in the whole city that was not paying an electric bill and just said, I'm not paying for that anymore. I used to hold my panel up to a fire and I used to put a voltmeter on it and it will pick up voltage from a bonfire. It will pick up voltage from a street light way over there. That doesn't mean it's charging. The charge controller itself has a minimum voltage for it to turn on and charge your battery. That flashy light doesn't care if you're hitting that minimum voltage. It's gonna say your wiring's good, even if you have, let's say, 3 volts going through the system. It has enough electricity to test and make sure that you have a fault or not. That flashing light does not say I'm charging. It's telling you that the wiring's okay. In reality, the way that you get to that 14 volts is by having a panel that's 23 volts and it gets enough sun that it runs half of its capacity up and it's sitting at 14 or 14 volts and then the system would turn on. How do I get that panel and another panel to work together to try to get to that 18 volts when there's not enough light, right? If you wire them like an old flashlight and the old old ones we used to use that was that long, where you put a battery in, the next one, you put in the positive touches the negative until you get 4 batteries in there. You screw on the end, which is making the negative touch the light bulb, basically. And now all of a sudden you have 4 batteries in there. Same thing with the panels. You're going to do positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative back to the system. They also call it daisy chaining. The reason why you do that positive, negative circle is because when they're wired that way, the voltage adds together, okay? So you could have one panel that's only getting 9 volts because it's low light, and another panel that's getting 9 volts because it's low light. Together, they're getting 18 volts and the system turns on. So you're able to use series wiring to trick the panel, to add the voltage together and to get it to, not even tricking it, to get it to run when there's not enough juice for a solar panel to run together. You're putting those batteries all into that flashlight and making them all work together. Sounds perfect, right? So why Would you wire it any other way? The problem, or like the negative part of series, if one panel has something wrong with it, it's the weakest link. It takes a certain amount of volts to turn the system on, but everything we talk about when we look at solar panels is watts. Watts is the total amount of energy that comes through a system. This is where everybody gets too technical. Not everyone needs to understand this part. In series, what's limited is the amps. Essentially, if you have 5 amps in one panel and 10 amps in the other 3, unless you have a bypass, the limit is going to make everything run at 5 amps. So you take 5 amps times whatever their voltage, and you get into what watts they are. There is a diode that will stop this from happening on the whole system, but you're still limited. It's still limiting the flow of energy. The best way to describe it is there's a hose that goes through, having all the water go through, and the limit in the amperage is the thickness of the hose on that one panel. If it's thinner on that one panel, doesn't matter how much you push through, the system won't let any more through. That's the bad part of series. You remember back in the day when we used to put those big old batteries in that flashlight? If you took 4 dead ones out and you put 2 good ones in and 2 of the other dead ones in, the flashlight still wouldn't work. The weakest link in this whole process is what's setting the capacity for the solar setup. The way you get away from that is parallel, okay? The way to describe parallel, the way I remember parallel is all the positives are going to the battery and all the negatives are going to the battery, right? To me, I remember it 3 stun guns hitting a person at the same time, and then they're going to be parallel on the ground because it's all the positives and the negatives of the stun gun hitting it. I know it's a funny way to remember it, but that's how I remember parallel. Essentially, if you do it with parallel, what you're doing is you're running all the positives from there and the positives from here. You're connecting them all together, and then you're running it to the battery. Now, the volts aren't going to add up then at all. They don't add up. This will not turn on. This system that you're talking about with parallel will not turn on early. It actually won't. But what it will do is, if you have a damage, it separates all the panels. So if you have a panel that's getting shaded by the mast, or if you have a panel that's just damaged, this one, remember, is going directly to the battery by itself. Right? So this whole one would work. If you're in a situation where you have clouded skies, or you have some kind of shadow or leaf or some kind of debris or obstruction, or even weakened panels, let's say you're not going to test every one of your panels all the time and one might be weak, you want to set it up in parallel, because that way you're not running off of the weakest link anymore. Every one of the panels is going to have its own energy running to the battery. So in series, they're sharing, and the weakest link is part of it, is actually deciding what's sharing. And then in parallel, they're not sharing anymore. They're all out on their own. They have to get to the 18 volts to turn the thing on by themselves. They have to collect sun by themselves, and if they're not getting sun, they're not part of the party, right? But they're not dragging anyone down anymore. So why wouldn't you run them all in parallel? Well, remember, you could kick this thing on. You can kick this thing on early in the morning if you're in a shady area. So the choice between whether or not you run parallel or series is based on where you're putting the panels. If you have a place that's always cloudy, you want them to kick on all the time. If you have a place like a sailboat where one is always going to be impeded, you want to separate the one that's impeded, right? Now, here's the best part about all of that. When the sun is out and the sun is shining on all of these and all of them are working right, doesn't matter which wire schematic you pick. They all will do the exact same power, right? So it's not like you're at the alternative. It's not like you're choosing, oh, but when it's nice and sunny, I'm actually limiting it. No, when it's nice and sunny and everything works the way it's supposed to work, both of these setups will work exactly the same and get you exactly the same energy out of it.
Riding that alone, driving nowhere. I'm down and out, but she don't care. Not a dime for a ticket anywhere. Split a fifth of gin with a friend of mine. Tailgate sitting, just wasting time. Sun in my eyes, saw her anyway. This is what she had to say. I like sunrises, back roads, long drives, torn clothes, cheap beer and gooey. The smell after the rain, any day without pain. Ooh, wind on a hot day, having a struggle a little bit, but still getting my way. I like sunrises, back roads, long drives, torn clothes. I like sunglasses and suntans, beaches catching the limit. I like the sun on my skin, keeping moments within. It's a Friday night long, driving nowhere. I'm down and out, but she don't care. Not a dime for a ticket anywhere. Split a fifth of gin with a friend of mine. Tailgate sitting, just wasting time. Sun in my eyes, saw her anyway. This is what she had to say. I like sunrises, back roads, long drives, torn clothes, cheap beer and good weed. The smell after the rain, any day without pain. Cool wind on a hot day, having a struggle a little bit, but still getting my way. I like sunrises, back roads, long drives, torn clothes. Sunrises and suntans, beaches catching the limit. I like the sun on my skin, keeping moments within.
I want to thank all of you that made it this far in the video. Watching the whole video is the best way to support the channel, so I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Sorry it was so talky. It's a hard topic to just fly through, but if you think about it, we nailed a lot of stuff in 15 minutes. Looking forward in the next couple of videos, we are going to talk a little bit about solar, maybe 5 minutes in each episode, just to give you little tricks of the setup process, and we're going to give you updates on how this whole thing is working on my boat. I'm really excited. See you guys next time.